What's up, everyone? All right, so another nice green day today. Yesterday was a green day, today's a green day. This morning we had STSS, our leading gapper, well, second leading gapper behind a buyout, third leading gapper if you include a reverse split, but let's call it the second leading gapper. Was gapping up 41%, so not a huge gap. However, this was interesting because it's a recent IPO stock. All-time high was 260. Pre-market, it had already blown through that up to 320, but then pulled back and was around 250, 240, 250 coming into the open, and it was below the volume weight average price in kind of this wedge. At the open, it ripped through 250, 260, squeezed up to 270, 280, it's a first pullback, and then on the second pullback, I got in around 288 and rode that momentum up to 295 to 3. Little resistance around 3, it popped up to like 303, pulled back, then up to 308, then pulled back, then up to 310, then pulled back, then up to 315, then pulled back. And then it squeezed through 320, 325, 35, 45, 55, all the way to 362. And that one candle was the biggest move of the day. So the stock went from 260 to 360, basically. And it was good. The nice thing was that, let's see, current volume is about 80 million shares of volume. So you've got a lot of volume, and that allowed for me to get in and out with pretty large positions without getting slippage, which was nice. So I was able to make some good money on it, even though the move wasn't really big. You know, in the last month or so, we've had a couple of stocks that have made huge moves, like, you know, $5 a share, $10 a share. And this one wasn't one of those. But at a lower price and with high volume, not a lot of slippage on the orders, so was able to trade it pretty aggressively and did well. You know, a base hit day, not a home run, but base hits are good, and those keep my head above water while I wait for the next, you know, big opportunity to present itself. So that's where I'm at for today. I'll break that down in the recap, and I'll break down the other stock I traded. So I traded 2 stocks today and finishing green. So I've now made back what I lost last Thursday. I was red about 14,000 on Thursday, and then was up about 12,900 I think yesterday, and about 14,500 today. So dug myself out of that hole pretty quickly, which is good. You know, and the only way is step by step. You gotta take it slow. So I got out of the hole, and now, you know, the rest of this week can be adding to the profit for the month of April, which, you know, we're on the second half of the month. So it's time to be thinking about trying to make sure I hold it together. I don't want to take a ton of risk and end up giving back half my month in one trade or something like that. At the same time, I do have a cushion, so I can let some trades ride a little bit if we see good opportunities. But, you know, that's kind of a challenge of, okay, you know, you feel like you've got the lead, so you, on the one hand, you can kind of ease off and slow down, just kind of coast a little. But on the other hand, you know, you've got a cushion. You could afford to take a little bit of risk, and maybe that ends up rolling forward to having the best month ever. You never know. So to be able to make that decision, you have to really be present with the condition of the current market. And right now, the market is a base hit market, and we're hitting some good base hits, but we're not seeing back-to-back type of home runs, not yet. So that time will come, you know, and it's always ebb and flow. And when it comes, hopefully I'll be in a place where I have a good cushion and I can afford to sort of size up and step up to the plate and really capitalize on those opportunities. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw that by the time those opportunities are presenting themselves, you've dug yourself a big hole, and you're having to trade conservatively to get out of it because you're needing to focus on capital preservation. You can't afford to lose more money. So it's always a challenge. But anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys, for my intro at least, we'll get into the recap. I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and I hope you're subscribed to the channel. That way you'll get the notification when I go live for the morning show, Monday through Friday around 9 a.m. So I'll see you tomorrow for the morning show. Enjoy the recap. Okay, everyone, so we're going to go over the trades from this morning. Kind of as it turned out, a little bit of a slower day, but had 2 trades that got me green, and the best ones were on STSS. So this one, you know, it was on our gap scanner. It was actually our leading gapper, but I wasn't really sure I liked it because it was pre-market below this critical level of $2.60. So I thought, well, it's got that resistance there. I'm not sure this is going to work. We'll see. And then at the open, it ends up ripping through 260. And as soon as it started to rip, I got in on the first pullback. And I got in right in this area here. On this pullback, I added at 288 average, and we got the squeeze up to 3. I took profit, and then I added back at 304. It squeezed up to 310. I added at 315, and then I added it through 320, and we got that squeeze on that candle up to 355. The next candle hit a high of 362. And this was against its all-time high here of 320. And of course, this was a recent IPO. Now, initially, I was sort of blah on it because the headlines that I was seeing, acquisition by a director, 4,000 shares. I was like, 4,000 shares? That's not a very, that's not a very big acquisition. He's already got 723,000 shares. And then the other one was acquisition by a director, 30,000 shares. Well, this guy's already got almost 900,000 shares. So I felt like these weren't really super significant headlines. But, I guess it didn't matter. And so anyways, the entries on this, the first entry right down here, first candle to make a new high, that was my first entry. And then this was grinding in this little area here, sort of popping up, pulling back, popping up, pulling back, high of 308, low of 294. And so I kept kind of getting in, taking a couple cents, getting out, getting back in, getting out, and then getting back in. And then I started actively trading it as it squeezed up there. So I got myself up a little over $15,000, maybe $16,000 on the day, maybe even 17, and then gave back a little off the top as it pulled back. I tried to take this dip trade here at 20, and I ended up losing about $3,000 on that trade. I got in right here thinking it was going to base out for the curl up, stopped out on that loss. Then I got back in as it came back up over that level, but it wasn't able to break through 350. So that continues to be our resistance right now. And all things considered, it is holding up relatively well. It's at 85%. The volume is fantastic. It's got really great liquidity. Easy to get in and out with big positions on it. No problem there. So, overall, pretty good. But I don't know if we're going to get a lot more out of it than we already got today. So we'll see. But it is about 10:37, and I've got some things to do today. So I think I'm going to take the 14,500 off the table and live to trade another day. So that was the stock that I traded the most actively. Churned some shares for sure. Commissions will be a little bit higher, but I'm happy with how I traded it. DFFN, so STSS was our second leading gapper. CMPI was our leading gapper, and then it was a buyout, so trading flat. And then DFFN appeared as a gapper of 4,500% because yesterday they did a 50-to-1 reverse split, and it took effect this morning. And it sold off, but I couldn't see any reason for the sell-off from 13 back down to 7. The only news that I saw was that they had the reverse split, and I was like trying to figure out, what am I missing? So pre-market, it was sort of consolidating right here, and at the open, as it started to curl up, I bought for the break of 820. It squeezed up to 887. I added at 887, and we got a squeeze up to 934. I took profit off the table, and then on this candle, it dropped all the way down to 787. I tried to do a dip off the low. I didn't get filled. And then at that point, I switched gears and focused on STSS. So I switched to focus on what was stronger. So I got a little trade on that. And interestingly on this, even though the volume was light, I got 0 slippage on my entry. I punched the order and I got filled with no slippage, which was telling me I was buying from a hidden seller, most likely. So there was a hidden seller on it, but I bought those shares, and so I ended up getting no slippage on my entry and then selling into strength as it moved higher, and then focusing on STSS for the rest of the morning. So that was my morning. And yesterday finished in pretty good shape, over 10,000. Had a high of about 15, but gave back a little profit. I think maybe I finished around 12 or 13. So a pretty good day yesterday. We got this nice afternoon move on CASA as it squeezed here up to 738, but you know, it was kind of choppy. I thought maybe we'd have continuation on that one today, but we didn't. So, you know, we're kind of in this, we're in a little bit of a grind here. I haven't looked at my P&L for the month of April. It's April 19th, and I don't know where I sit on the month right now, and I'm okay with that. You know, sometimes, so I was red on Friday also, by the way. I was down 15,000. And so on Friday, what I ended up doing, I ended up having one of these days where what happened? I don't remember exactly, but I went red. I was down about 3,000, I think, and took kind of one more aggressive trade. I lost on it, and then I was down $6,000. And then I was like, okay, one more, and I lost on that one like 10,000 and went down 15,000. At that point, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm fighting a losing battle here. And so I was done. A few minutes later, I see that some of you guys had a huge trade on Viru, and I was like, frustrated. I was like, oh man, if I had stayed around, maybe I could have taken that trade on Viru and gotten back to flat on the day. But when you go down 10, 15,000, at least for me, you know, that's a big swing from being, you know, a good day right now is like 10 to 15 in the green. So if I'm that deep in the red, you know, I've given back one good day of progress. I don't really want to give back too much more. And if I had ended up taking that trade on Viru, you know, I naturally would have probably been pretty aggressive on it because I would have been trying to compensate for being down 15,000. And what if I top tick and bought the very top and then it flushed down $1 a share with 15,000 shares just like that? I'm down 30,000. And I'm saying to myself, man, why didn't you stop sooner? You were already red on 3 out of 3 stocks. You went for that fourth trade. It was too risky. Now at the same time, I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but I think it was yesterday. I was up 3,000 on the day, and then I took a $10,000 loss on iSun, and then we had CASA, and I made $24,000 on CASA, and just like that, went from down 6,000 on the day to up, you know, 15,000 on the day or whatever it was. I got that trade that gave me the swing from red to green, but I didn't go down more than 10,000. You know, I wasn't down 10, 15, 20,000. Anything for me between down 2, 3, 5, 6,000, anything less than 10, I still think I have a chance of, you know, being able to finish the day in good shape. But when I start going down more than 10, for me, it doesn't feel good. And, you know, right now, my daily goal, I mean, I don't really have a strong daily goal. For the last 2 years, my daily goal had been 20,000 a day, but I haven't been consistently hitting that. Excuse me. I haven't been consistently hitting that in for the majority of this year. So I kind of told myself, you know, start just focusing on $5,000, $10,000 days. And, you know, some days you'll hit 15 and that's great. Maybe some days you'll hit 20 and that's great too, but be happy with 5, be happy with 10. So my kind of rule of thumb is I don't want to lose more on a red day than I make in a good green day. That's kind of where I draw the line of like, should be my max loss. So, you know, to lose more than 10, 15,000 in one day is at this point kind of like that's it. I don't like having $20,000, $30,000 red days because I'm not having $20,000, $30,000 green days on a regular basis. So trying to manage the risk a little bit better there. I was very disappointed to have a red day on Thursday because it felt like that was sort of the end of, it was the end of the week. I went into a long weekend. Finishing on a red trade is not fun. I was disappointed, and you know, I just kind of, I was like, it was my first red day of April. I felt like I had been doing pretty well, and maybe had a chance of having a no red month, and then I screwed it up a little bit. So, you know, that's just sometimes how it goes. But was able to rally back Monday and here Tuesday. So, anyways, finishing the morning in the green. I didn't go red today, which is good. I just had 2 trades at the open, basically 2 stocks that put me nicely into the green. And I did try to take one more trade on it that was a little aggressive, and it gave back a little bit. But all things considered, it's a good day. And with this breakdown right here at this point, you know, this chart's broken. So I'm going to shut it down. I don't want to look at the charts for the rest of the day. I'm just going to let it be what it is. and say, you know what? You had a good morning. 14,000 is great. Plus the 12.9 from yesterday. That's 24,000, 25,000 or so after fees and commissions probably on the month, or sorry, on the week. So not bad. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, as always. So remind traders, of course, especially those tuning in for YouTube, my results are not typical. Most beginner traders do lose money, so trade cautiously. Make sure you manage your risk. And I'll put a link up in the top corner to check out my video, which is going to be a link to the stream of the 7 steps I would take if I were going to start over as a trader tomorrow. So check that out, and I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning for the morning show around 9 a.m. I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.